Voroshilov was a Project 26 Kirov-class cruiser of the Soviet Navy that served during World War II and into the Cold War. She bombarded German troops during the Siege of Odessa before being badly damaged in November 1941 by German bombers. Upon her return from repairs in March 1942, she supported Soviet troops during the Siege of Sevastopol, the Kerch-Feodosiya Operation and the amphibious landings at Novorossiysk at the end of January 1943. Her active participation in the war ended in October 1943 when 3 destroyers were lost to air attack and Joseph Stalin forbid missions using large ships without his permission. Post-war she was converted to a missile test ship before being sold for scrap in 1973. Description: Voroshilov was 191.3 meters long, had a beam of 17.66 meters and had a draft of 6.15 meters. She displaced 7,890 metric tons at standard load and 9,436 metric tons at full load. Her 2 steam turbines proved to be more powerful than anticipated, producing a total of 122,500 shaft horsepower. This was almost enough to achieve the ship's designed speed of 37 knots during her sea trials, reaching 36.72 knots despite being over 650 metric tons overweight. Voroshilov carried 9 180mm 57 caliber B1P guns in 3 electrically powered Mk3-180 triple turrets. Her secondary armament consisted of 6 single 100mm 56 caliber B-34 anti-aircraft guns fitted on each side of the rear funnel. The ship's light AA guns consisted of 6 semi-automatic 45mm 21K AA guns and 4 DK-12.7-MALLIMETER machine guns, 6 533mm 39U torpedo tubes were fitted in 2 triple mountings. Wartime modifications. When war broke out in 1941, Voroshilov was not equipped with any radars, but she received a number of British Lend-Lease radars by 1944. 1 Type 284 and 2 Type 285 radars were used for main battery fire control. 1 Type 291 was used for air search, while anti-aircraft fire control was provided by 2 Type 282 radars. Service. Voroshilov was laid down at the Marty South shipyard in Nikolaev on 15 October 1935, the second of the Project 26, to use their industrial designation, Kirov-class cruisers. She was launched on the 28th of June 1937, but she had to wait for her Soviet-built machinery to be delivered before she was completed on the 20th of June 1940. On the 23rd of June 1941, Voroshilov covered Soviet destroyers bombarding Constanza, after the Germans attacked the Soviet Union, and was slightly damaged by a mine exploded by the destroyer Subrazitelny's paravanes. She bombarded Axis troops near Odessa on the 19th of September with 148,180mm shells and was transferred to Novorossiysk shortly afterwards. On the 2nd of November the ship was bombed in harbor by Junkers Ju-88 bombers of Kampfgeschwader 51. She was hit twice. One hit started a fire in No. 3 magazine, that was extinguished by water flooding in from the second hit. Voroshilov had to be towed to Poti for repairs, which lasted until February 1942. She shelled Axis positions near Feodosiya on the 19th of March and the 3rd of April 1942. but was damaged by fragments from bombs from Ju-88s on 10 April and had to return to Batumi for minor repairs. On 8 and 11 May she provided fire support for Soviet troops around Kerch and the Taman Peninsula. On 27 May one of her turbines broke down while helping to transfer the 9th Naval Infantry Brigade from Batumi to Sevastopol, and required repairs lasting until 24 July 1942. On 29 November 1942 she was damaged by nearby mine explosions while bombarding Feodosiya with 46, 180 mm and 57,100 mm shells, but managed to return to Poti under her own power. Just after her repairs were completed, she assisted Soviet forces landing behind German lines at Malaya Zemlya with 240,180 mm shells at the end of January 1943. On 17 February the ship transferred from Poti to Batumi. Voroshilov was withdrawn from active operations, however, after the loss of 3 destroyers that were attempting to interdict the German evacuation of the Taman bridgehead to air attack on 6 October 1943. This loss caused Stalin to forbid the deployment of large naval units without his express permission, which was not granted during the rest of the war. The ship was transferred to Novorossiysk on 18 August 1944 and to Sevastopol on 5 November. She was awarded the Order of the Red Banner on 8 July 1945. Post-war, Voroshilov was inspected in 1946 and found unsatisfactory, but she was given routine servicing. She began her post-war modernization in April 1954, but the Navy re-evaluated the scope of the work in 1955 and deemed it insufficient to create a fully modern ship. Unlike her half-sister Maxim Gorky, she was selected for conversion as a testbed for missile development as Project 33 on 17 February 1956. The conversion process was prolonged, as her armament was removed and she received an entirely new superstructure and masts. She consequently was not recommissioned as OS-24 until 31 December 1961. The ship was modernized under Project 33M from the 11th of October 1963 to 1 December 1965. Her final conversion was to a floating barracks on 6 October 1972 and she was redesignated as PKZ-19. Voroshilov was sold for scrapping on 2 March 1973. Voroshilov's 14-ton propeller and 2.5-ton stop anchor are on display at the Museum of Heroic Defense and Liberation of Sevastopol on Upon mountain in Sevastopol.